So I wanted to see who was up. I know not TikTok. YouTube has this new live feature and I've never used it. So I figured now would be a great time to try it out. It was late. A lot of people might not be up. And I could just test it out, see some of the features, and then see if any of you are up. So I wanted to first thank all of you who completed my poll on my YouTube channel. So I know that I've not done a lot of long form content, which I do plan to get back into doing long form. And I've been just uploading a lot of YouTube shorts. So I'm definitely going to make sure that I get those up this month. So I'm super excited about getting more long form content on the channel, and some of the things I did a live earlier, and I mentioned some of the things that I'm going to be doing on the channel this month. So I got a couple ideas. I know people mentioned some things that they would want me to post, and I really want to make sure that the videos that I'm making are going to be beneficial for all of you watching. So I'm going to take any ideas that you all have, and then from the polls, I know that you mentioned when I did the poll, you all mentioned that you wanted more videos about how to move away from one-to-one client work, which is amazing. Like, I'm super excited to make videos about that. So we're going to be talking a lot about moving away from one-on-one client work, what that can look like. I had encouraged you all earlier, I was on live, to watch the video. Well, I just realized I turned my light out. I had encouraged you all to watch the video about the 3 phases of professionalism. So I think the video is titled 3 Paths to Social Work That No One is Talking About. So from that, you'll be able to know about the 3 phases of professionalism that I talk about. So I'll briefly mention them, but when you watch the video, the long form video, you'll see more about what I mean. So I oftentimes talk about the career phase. That's when you're working in your 9 to 5, which is for us as social workers and therapists. That's where we all start, is working in our jobs. That's where you want to start when you are graduating from your master's program. You want to be positioning yourself in a career where you can start gaining an area of expertise, niching down, moving from generalist to specialist. So then you have a body of knowledge that you can begin to leverage when you move into the scaffolding phase. So you first want to start in the career phase. And one of the things that I don't advise doing when you work in the career phase is just kind of working at a lot of random jobs that don't have a lot of connection to the work that you actually want to do. So that was one of the mistakes that I made when I first started out in my career. There was no like continuity in my work history or in my work journey, in my career journey. It was just like me working at a lot of different places. Now, I don't regret the experiences that I had, because I love the people that I met. I love the connections that I made. I love how it kind of helped me have a well-rounded experience as a professional, but I probably would have did it a little bit more strategically had I known now what if I would have known then what I know now. So what that looked like for me was working at a lot of jobs where it was a lateral move. So I wasn't working in jobs where my income was substantially increasing every year. I would work a job 1 or 2 years and then go to a different job, and it was around the same income, sometimes less, and then go to a different job and it was around the same income, sometimes less. So my income didn't like really move up until I really started thinking about, like, do I want to continue working in these roles where I'm not leveling up in my income? And for some of the roles that I was doing, because it was school social work, our work time was centered around a school year. So in the summer, like when teachers were off, we were off too, and we would have to file for unemployment, and it just was not sustainable. That's one of the things that I don't know that people talk a lot about. Depending on the type of school social work that you're doing, you're not working throughout the entire year. You're having time off just like social workers do. And I don't know if social workers have to, I mean, if teachers have to file for unemployment. I've never heard a teacher filing for unemployment, but as a school social worker, that's what we had to do. I had no clue that when I was working with the school, that was going to be what was required. So you pretty much take 5 steps back after you work those couple months from August to, what is it, June, and then you have to take June, July, August off. Like, that's 3 months that you're missing that regular pay that you have, because you're not getting your entire income when you're filing for unemployment, and then you're having to catch back up in August when the school year starts again. So it was just like this roller coaster with my income, um that, if you don't know what you're getting into, you'll think that you're doing the work that you want to do, but then you realize that the income just isn't sustainable, so you're eventually going to have to find something else. Now, had I known then, what I could have done is, maybe if I would have gotten my license earlier, I could have provided therapy or some type of therapeutic services to school on my own. And then that's what I ended up eventually doing. And then just contracting with charter schools and public schools to be able to provide interventions that way. But I was too early on in my career to know that I could do that, and I didn't really have a mentor who could walk me through what I needed to do. So that was part of the reason why I did start my channel, because I ran into a lot of challenges when I first started in my career, knowing how to increase my income, and it didn't do like these huge jumps over time. I did a lot of lateral moves in my career until I eventually transitioned into higher ed. So it wasn't until I started working in higher ed that then my income started to go up, and then I stayed in higher ed for a while until I started to get director level positions. I mean, by that time, I was independently licensed, and I was ready to kind of transition and fully try to see if I can go into entrepreneurship. And that's eventually what I did when I started my private practice. So now, with having my private practice, and then just seeing what happened when COVID came and everyone learning how to leverage online tools, that's what kind of caused me to really go all in on my YouTube channel. And now that's the avenue that I really want to fully lean into, and have that be the primary way that the majority of my income comes, outside of doing private practice work. So that's kind of the journey that I'm on now, and just kind of connecting with other social workers and kind of helping you all see what that path can look like for you, and helping you navigate that, so you don't have to go through all the challenges that I did, like when I first started in my social work career. So that's one of the reasons why I make the videos that I make on my channel, and that it's really important for me to talk with you all about what it looks like to make the transition from the career phase to the scaffolding phase and the social work CEO phase. So if you've not watched that video on my channel, make sure that you go watch that. It's like 3 paths of social work that no one talks about. And that's going to let you know about these 3 phases. So like I mentioned before, you want to start in the career phase, but the goal of being in the career phase is not just to work a lot of lateral roles where you're not developing a level of expertise. You want to work in an area where you could start having a body of knowledge that you can use when you transition into the scaffolding phase. So for me, working in schools, what that body of knowledge came to be, but I didn't know that I should intentionally be working in the career phase to develop that body of knowledge. That's the differentiator between the knowledge that I didn't have versus the knowledge that I'm giving you. So when I was working in the career phase, and I was doing school social work, what I wish someone would have told me was, Manika, okay, now that you're in the career phase, you want to start learning all that you can about child development. You want to start learning everything that you can about behavioral disorders as it relates to children, and how to help teachers and parents learn how to manage these behaviors, so that when you want to teach, if you want to train, if you want to speak, you'll have a depth of knowledge that if someone is looking for someone who specializes in developmental assets or emotional regulation or disruptive mood disorder or ADHD or any of those or any of those symptoms that come up in schools that teachers aren't trained in, you can be top of mind when someone is needing that level of insight and education around child behavior. That was what no one told me, that I didn't know that I should be doing when I was working these school social work roles. I was just told to do the assessment, see if they are eligible for Medicaid, do the intervention, work with the teacher, provide some interventions, but not to be positioning myself as someone who could be seen as an expert and someone whose opinion and thoughts and expertise was valued, in a way that I could begin earning income for myself outside of the work that I was doing for my 9 to 5. I didn't have that lens or that perspective to know that I should be building my career in that way. So if you're still in a career phase, I highly recommend that if you're working in your 9 to 5, figure out what are those points where people need a problem solve, where there's a lot of questions coming up that you can answer, that you understand the nuance of things for the role or the position, that you know how to help someone get from where they are to overcoming an issue or a problem. Like, you understand the process, you understand the flow, you understand the function, you understand the behavior. Like, whatever the thing is that you're doing, you're able to explain it backward and forward, and not even for just for people who interact at your organization or your agency, but also like the general public. You want to be able to explain things and have a level of expertise. If someone who didn't know about you, or didn't know about your work, or didn't know about your knowledge, but maybe they needed that help and support, they're just a random person, would be interested and intrigued with the body of knowledge that you have, and they would refer or recommend you to someone else. So you want a level of expertise that can span beyond just the population that you're working with. But like, think of it like you were positioned like you would eventually want to do a TED Talks. So that the way in which you would have to have that knowledge base to perform on a stage, that's what you want to be developing in the career phase. So then when you move to the scaffolding phase, then you don't have a problem knowing, like, what should you create? Should you do consulting? Could you do training? Could you do CEUs? Could you do a workshop? Could you do a webinar? Could you do digital products? Like, you've already have the expertise that you need to be able to transition into the scaffolding phase and know exactly what you need to sell. You know what the concerns are. You know what content you need to be making. You know what videos people are going to respond to, because they already have been asking you the questions from you working in the career phase. So I feel like that's what I call the lowest hanging fruit opportunity, is for you to take the knowledge that you already have and then use that to begin creating building what you know. Now, the challenge in that is oftentimes, like, I have a couple people in my membership now that they're struggling with that transition, because one, they've worked in a population for so long. It's like, I've done this for X amount of years. I don't want to build additional product around that. I don't want to continue to teach that. I want to explore something else. Like, I want a new body of knowledge where I can become an expert, and I want to do the thing that I'm actually passionate about, not the thing that they paid me to do, which I think that's fine. Like, you can absolutely make that transition. It's just going to be you identifying, well, what is that thing that you would feel comfortable doing, where you could still have a level of expertise even if you didn't do that in your 9 to 5. So for one of the therapists in my membership, she's working on wanting to do financial social work, but that wasn't what she did in her 9 to 5. So now we're having to build out, well, what does that look like if you didn't have expertise doing financial social work, but now you're wanting to step into that realm? So we have to, like, build that out for her, because that's what she wants her digital product business to be. So you don't 100% have to transition from what you did in your career to letting that be the thing that you create your digital products around. I just think that's the easiest way for you to get started, so you don't have that huge curve of having to learn a new skill, know how to teach it, know what the problems are around it. But you can absolutely do it the way that she's building it. So now that we're working on her kind of creating her content, understanding who her target audience is, what's going to be her messaging, we're then going to have to build out her online offers. So that's going to be all the things that she's going to want people to pay her for, based off this level of expertise that she has. So when you're thinking about what that looks like for you, when you know that you want to move beyond one-to-one work, there might be something that you're currently doing, like on a one-to-one basis in therapy or in case management or whatever the work is that you're doing. Maybe it could be clinical work. For you to be able to transition that into a one-to-many model, you want to think about patterns. So from you working with that person one-to-one, what is a pattern that you notice, or a pattern that you've picked up on, that not only is this one person struggling with this, but this is something that can be universal for a lot of different people. So with your area of expertise and your insight, you should know, like, what some patterns are that you notice that people have that can apply to a lot of people. So when you're, let's just say, for example, you're doing a one-to-one work with someone who has anxiety. Like, we all know the symptomology of anxiety as social workers and therapists, and those patterns that come with anxious thinking, those would be the things that you would want to speak to when you move to a one-to-many model. Because one person struggling with anxiety, a lot of people are going to have those same problems, those same symptomologies, those same concerns, and those same thinking distortions. So you want to be able to take that knowledge that you're getting from that one-to-one interaction and then be able to speak to that as if it was more, that you're able to help more people, which you absolutely can. But you still talk, like when you're doing your content, you're still talking as if you're just speaking to that one person. So you don't position your content and say, um, um, you're positioning where you're saying, like, if you are struggling with this, or if this is something that you notice, or if you're the one who's going through this difficulty or this challenge. So you're saying it like you're talking to one person, not like you're universally talking to everybody. Oh, that's the word I was trying to think of. So you're not saying like everybody struggles with this, or everybody has trouble overthinking, or everybody has a time in their life where they notice that their thoughts get the best of them. You're not positioning it like this is everybody. You're still in that one-to-one conversation, and you're just talking to that one person on the other side of the screen, and you're wanting to connect with that person. So you're going to talk like there's no one else in the room, just you. If you're experiencing this, if this is something that you notice, if you're having a hard time, if you notice that your thinking is getting the best of you, so you want to create your content like that. So once you start creating your content, you've identified what your offer is. Then when I mention about being in the scaffolding phase, to me, that means that you've decided that content is going to be a primary way that you're going to build your audience, and that you're going to create a buzz for your digital product offers. So if you know that content is not, like, I made the commitment, like, content is going to be the thing that's going to be the vehicle that I use to help get people into the programs that I offer. And the people who I work with in my membership, I want them to have made that same commitment. Like, content is going to be a driver of my business that's going to help people get into my offers. So that's the other thing. Like, you have to be someone who's deciding, I'm going to go all in on content. You don't have to make it all the time, because that's one of the things that I teach inside of the membership is you don't have to make it all the time. You just know how to optimize it to where once you make it once, it can continue to work for you. So that's what we talk about. So you know how to make content, and I show you how to use hashtags and how to use SEO, which is search engine optimization, which helps your videos become findable on Google, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. So we talk about all of those things, and then I literally help them build out the components of their offer, what they're creating, coming up with their messaging, deciding on their niche, so that there's no confusion. So not only is the membership like a place where you can get accountability, we meet every week, like every Thursday. Like I said, that's one of the reasons why I decided to go live, because after the membership, I wanted to come on and share with you all what came up that we're literally working through every week. So it's also about, so it's about accountability. It's about you being able to tap into my insight and knowledge of the things that I've done to build my YouTube channel up to 30,000 subscribers, or to be able to grow my audience on my social media platforms, to create income from my digital product offers, to know how to a funnel operate. So how do I create a YouTube video? This is what a funnel is. How do you create a YouTube video intentionally, like you script it out, you know what you're going to say, and then inside that YouTube video you have an offer, something that you have people go to or download or watch that takes them off of that YouTube video to get them on your email list, or to get them into a webinar so you can eventually sell something, or you mention it in your YouTube video and then there's something in your description that you sell. So that's how a funnel works. And part of the membership is me showing social workers, like, this is the process, this is how it goes. When you create a video, this is just not a talking head video where you're talking for the sake of talking. Like, this is leading to your offer, so that you're not having a hard time trying to sell the thing, but you're building up anticipation. You're letting people know about how it can help them. you're bringing people into your world. Like that's all a part of the process of how marketing works when you decide that you want to leverage social media. So we go all through that inside of the membership. So you have the accountability, you have the one-on-one calls with me on Thursday, and then not only that, we do the monthly work sessions. So this is like focus work for 2 hours where we come together, we work on our goals. So I use the 12-week year planning model. So we work on our 12-week year goals together. And then after we do the 12-week goals, I meet with them one-on-one to see where you are in your goals, where are you getting stuck, what do you need, what resources do I need to put inside of the community for you to be able to see results quicker. So we have the accountability, we have the work sessions, we have the tools and the templates. So for the things that you need to just get there quicker, so you're not creating everything from scratch. So it's just a true implementation community, and for you to be able to have the support that you need. And if any of you know, like when you're in the scaffolding phase and you're building something for yourself, or you're in the social work CEO phase, like that could be like some of the loneliest time when you're just kind of building and just you there every day in your office. It's not like when you're working in your regular 9 to 5 and you can go over to somebody's cubicle and chit chat a little bit before you start your day. Like you're literally by yourself 90% of the time until your client comes. And that's really different. It's a really different feeling. Like it can be isolating, it can be lonely. You don't really talk to people much at all during the day, and it takes some getting used to because you're used to being social at your 9 to 5. But then it's like when you're in practice, is nobody, everybody's at work. So it's like you can't just call people because people are working. So, and not saying you're not working, but you have a lot more freedom. Like there is no boss, there's nobody telling you to clock in and go to lunch and take your break. Did you do your documentation? Like when you're a solo and you're an entrepreneur, like all of that rises and falls on you. It's on you to be responsible for your time, your documentation, your schedule, your strategy, your vision, your mission, your marketing, like all the things, just building it out. And it's an exciting opportunity to like grow into that, but it can be a lot of work. So I'm excited that we have one new licensed social, no, she's an LPC who joined the membership, and she's building her private practice. So she's in the scaffolding phase. So I'm going to be working with her on her practice. So I'm just super excited about being able to connect with social workers through this membership. So if you know that the membership is something that you would be interested in, I don't know if there's any place for you all to click here on the live, but if you follow me on Instagram, or or TikTok, and you click the link in my bio, you'll see a link to join Design Your Career. It's $19 a month. So if any of you know that you're in the scaffolding phase, you know you're committed to building something for yourself, you have a digital product or something online that you want to create, you're committed to using content to do it, you're wanting to lean into an area of expertise so that you can position yourself as an expert, and you want to do all of that in community, then I encourage you to click the link on in my bio on Instagram, and then you'll see Join Design Your Career. Again, it's $19 a month. If you just want to join for one part of the 12-week year, so like I said, we do a 12-week year planning. So we're in our first 12-week year, so that's the 90 days. So if you decide, I just want to get through my first 12-week year, really nail down these goals, and then you decide you don't want to be a part of the membership anymore, that's totally fine. You can cancel at any time. But if you want to stay in and continue to plan with us and make this the year that you really get serious and committed about your goals and not letting anything get in the way, then I encourage you to join us. It's a small group for now. I wanted to keep it small. To me, it wasn't about quantity, it was about quality. Like I wanted the right people in there with the right attitude, with the right desire to grow and to connect and to engage with their community, engage with their content, and just had a passion for the work, like passion for social work, for helping people, but just wanting to do it in a different way, wanting to do it in a more sustainable way. So if you know that that's you and that's something that you would love to be a part of, again, you can click the link in my profile on Instagram, and then you can join the community for $19 a month. And I would love to have you inside if you found that this is something that you would enjoy. And I don't even know how this works. Like I'm just kind of testing it out. Does anyone have any questions? I don't even see where I could see a question or take a question, but does anybody have any questions about design your career or the membership or where you are in your goals? Maybe you're getting stuck somewhere and you just need like some strategy or insight, feedback. Maybe you might be thinking about switching over roles or starting your practice, or you're stuck in your practice. Hey, good evening. Oh, now I see. Now I see some questions and comments. Do any of you have any questions about designing your career, navigating your career, monetizing what you know? What's the best next step for you with your degree? I don't even know if everybody, I think everybody on YouTube can see that it doesn't just, your lives, like it doesn't just go to your audience first. I think it goes to everybody who's just live on YouTube. This is neat. Like, I'm normally live over on TikTok. This is my first time going live on YouTube. So I'm probably going to have to end the live because I only have 3% on my phone. I've been live pretty much all day. Does anyone have any questions about your career, social work? Somebody on my live earlier today wanted me to do a video about interview questions, so I'll probably do another video of that for 2026, and then I'll probably do another top 10 careers video for 2026 too. And then I'll add what I'm talking about now: digital products, being able to create income on your own, monetize what you know. So I'll add that to the list because that's important. Like, we need that on the list. I have an MSW, but I'm having a hard time finding employment as I'm re-entering the workforce after 4 years. Okay. Do you have an area of expertise? The top 10 may be helpful for me. Okay, yeah, I do plan to update the top 10. Let me put my, I was about to hop off, but let me just put my phone on the charger just in case. I don't want it to die. I might have to hold it. But you have an MSW, hard time finding employment, re-entering the workforce after 4 years. Yeah, do you have an area of expertise? Like, do you have a specialized knowledge based off the work that you've done? And then what is the work that you want to do when you're saying you're having a hard time finding a job? Youth, family, school, social work, and protective services. That's the work that you've done in the past. What is it that you want to do? When you say you're having a hard time finding employment, where are you trying to get employed? And have you had anyone, okay, where is it that you're trying to get employed? You're wanting to do the youth, family, and school social work? I'm trying to gain employment. Oh, within the medical field. Oh, okay. So have you been applying at hospitals? I'm assuming that's where you've been applying. I have a couple suggestions for you. So yes, I do have some suggestions. Because oftentimes, I don't know where you are from, but if no one has ever said this to you, sometimes it's not what you know, is who you know. That's a very real statement. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. So it's a couple things that I would recommend doing. Whatever community that you're in. Oh, you're in Florida. Okay. So being in Florida, Florida has local hospitals. And within those local hospitals, oftentimes they do drives, fundraisers, things where they're needing to raise money, or they have like some type of volunteer opportunities. I would say make an intention within the next 90 days to connect with 4 or 5 hospitals in your community and volunteer with an organization that they support, something coming up in your community to where you can get connected around those medical social workers, so you can start making some connections in those industries if you've not done that already. If there is some type of just fundraising effort or something that's supported by a hospital in your community. Maybe they sponsor an event. So maybe it's something where you notice that their name is like a major sponsor of something. I would go to that event and make connections with the people who are sponsoring that event. So look in your community, see what's coming up, see what fundraisers are available, either volunteer or attend those fundraisers, and then make connections with people in those hospitals. And then from there, I would just start just trying to continue to strengthen those relationships. The other thing that I would do is I would have someone review your resume, because it could be possible that you're not communicating your transferable skill sets in a way that will want a hospital to want to employ you for the level of work that they need. So I would look at the postings, the job postings that are for the medical social workers, compare that to your resume. This is something that you can put in chat. You can take the job description of the medical social work positions that you're applying for, and then take your resume and then tell chat, this is the job description for a medical social work role, and then copy and paste yours to say, this is my current resume, or you could take a screenshot of it. This is what my current resume is and what I do. What are the gaps in my resume that will keep me from being employed as a medical social worker, and what things do I need to include? How do I need to word my transferable skill sets to make this resume more appealing for a medical social work role? So I would do that as well. And then oftentimes for medical social work, sometimes they do use ATS friendly resumes. So if your resume doesn't have those specific keywords, it doesn't make it past the ATS system. So that's another thing that I will put into chat. How can I ensure that my resume is ATS friendly so that I make it past the process and am considered for an interview? So I would do those three things. Look at events, fundraisers, organizations within your community. Try to volunteer, make connections there. Print out a job, or not print out, copy and paste a job description inside of chat along with your resume. Ask it to find gaps as to what could be keeping you from being employed as a medical social worker, and then asking chat to make sure, or have somebody review your resume and making sure that it's ATS compliant, so it's making it past those systems with the keywords that you need for it to be identified as a potential for you to be identified as a potential candidate. I'm currently interviewing for my first LMSW. Oh, congratulations. That's amazing. That is great. Well, I would say, if you've not watched my interview video, make sure that you watch that so you're prepared to answer your questions. You don't want to be fumbling around in your interview when it's time to answer your questions. You want to be very clear about your expertise and what you're going to bring to the table as a candidate. So if you want to share what position you're applying for, I can help you with some language if you need that. Oh, you're welcome. Did you already interview? Or is it your first or your second interview? Because one of the things that I recommend in my video is that you have your elevator pitch. So you want to go in confident, let them know your name, who you serve, your target population, and just kind of give a brief overview of what you do and your expertise. And I have an example when you watch my interview videos on how to make sure you practice so you are 100% prepared. And I always think about going into an interview like you're a consultant. I learned, like, the more interviews that I did, I started going into my interviews like I was a consultant, not like I was looking for a job. So that meant if you bring somebody in to be a consultant, we're equals. Like, I'm not looking for something from you. I'm not looking for you to hire me. I'm not looking for you to select me. I'm not looking for you to consider me or think of me as the best candidate. I'm not hoping you choose me. When I go into consulting, like, you came to me because you need something. So I'm going to let you know what I think you need and what I can do for you. That's the difference between how you approach an interview when you're like employing, you're in employee mode trying to get a job, versus you're like standing in your confidence as a professional and offering value to a company. So you want to think about it that way. And that takes practice too. Like, that's not something that just kind of happens when you feel like you're new to the field. Like, what value do I have? I just graduated with my graduate degree. So it can be kind of tough to kind of step into that identity, especially if you've not had a lot of roles. But that's something that I developed with time. But I'm saying that to you now so that you can get in the habit of interviewing in that way. Because even if you're new, let me think back when I was new in school social work. I probably didn't have enough confidence to go into an interview like that. But had I had like a mentor or someone working with me and practicing with me on my interview, I could have developed the skill set. Because I was already like speaking, and I had experience in the Optimist Club and speaking on stages. So it wasn't like I didn't have some level of confidence. I just didn't know how to translate that confidence into an interview or professionally. But I had things that I had done outside of being a social worker that I could have built on those skills. So having someone to kind of help you develop in that way is really important. So I hope that was helpful. Do y'all have any other questions before I hop off the live? Thank you all so much for being on my live. I know it's late, but I'm in the process of completing the application for RLCSW. What is that? Any advice? What's RLCSW? Any advice on the best place to work that also provides clinical supervision? First, you got to tell me what RCSW is. RLCSW. I can stay on for a second if you have a question. Any advice for being discouraged? I don't want to be broke. Are you still in school, Stacy? Are you do you have your master's? Registered intern? I'm in the process of completing the application for a registered intern. The best place to work that also provides clinical supervision. If you can get that hospital role that you just talked about, that could be good. The bigger question is, what do you want to do long term? You mentioned you wanted to be a medical social worker. So I would try to find, let me make sure I see your question. Find places to work that's going to help you build on your expertise as a medical social worker. So anything medical adjacent, anything that's going to help you with like anything related to psychosis. I worked on a psychiatric unit when I worked as a medical social worker, and I did suicidal assessments when people came onto the unit for suicidal ideation. So anything that's going to help you with that. So if you wanted to work at a place that dealt with SI, you could do that so that you have some expertise when it comes to working on that unit. If you're wanting to work as a medical social worker, like when they first come into, if you want to like crisis response, if they first come into the ER and you're like triaging, determining where they need to go, I would probably work at a place that's going to help you with those triage skills and being able to handle crisis. Because when you do crisis work, you're like the anchor. You need to work at places that's going to help you learn how to be the anchor and not respond with your nervous system just all out of whack. So you're going to need that expertise when you're working in a hospital, because they're going to be looking to you to have that level-headedness. Being discouraged, Stacy, what is it that you want to do? Because being broke is not our fate as social workers. But you have to know what you want to do and who you want to serve and how you want to show up with your expertise. That's what's going to determine. Okay, yes, graduating in May, and I'm nervous about finding a job. Okay, what population do you want to serve, Stacy? Who do you want to work with? You're welcome. What's been my favorite role? I love working in schools. So what I went to school for, what I went to graduate school for, I did a specialization in school social work. That was probably my top, well, my first favorite. Then my second favorite was alumni relations when I worked in higher ed. So I was responsible for working with the alumni to coordinate events on campus when they were wanting to donate back to the college, and coordinating alumni relations events, traveling to different states to help host alumni events so they can provide donations back to the university. That was my second favorite role. Medical social work, funny you mentioned that, but I don't know if I get hired as a new grad or even know. Oh, oh, you want to do medical social work too? Why don't you think you would be hired as a new grad? If you do what I just recommended, is it anointed to palms, palm? If you do what I just recommended, I don't know if you heard what I just recommended, but you should do the same thing, Stacy. So one of the things that I mentioned is, if you're wanting to become a medical social worker, you want to make connections with hospital and hospital staff in your community. This includes children's hospitals too. So find, like, not just the adult hospitals, but children's hospitals have fundraisers all the time to raise money for a different unit or a wing that they're trying to create. You guys need to attend those fundraisers and make connections with the people in those rooms, and let them know that you're a graduate, that you're interested. I will volunteer for the fundraiser. So find out what fundraisers are happening in your community that a hospital is putting on. Become a volunteer for that fundraiser so you can make connections with the people at the hospital. Let them know that you're a social worker, you're looking to volunteer for causes that matter to you. You want to work with kids, you have a passion for working with patients who come into the hospital with mental health conditions. Don't say, I want to volunteer so I can get a job here. Make it about the work. So say that you want to volunteer so that you can learn more about the ways that the hospital is serving the community and helping to meet a need. So you want to volunteer, go to the fundraiser, meet some people there who are connected with the hospital, look on the program to see who's who, and make your connections by volunteering. And then the other recommendation, that you want to make sure that your resume is going to help get your foot in the door. So I will go on a website from your state that's hiring for medical social workers, copy that resume, copy the job description for a medical social worker, put it in Chat GPT, whatever chat you use, copy the job description, and then take a screenshot or copy your resume in and say, I'm a new grad, I'm wanting to become a medical social worker. What are the gaps in my resume that could potentially keep me from getting a job or an interview, and what type of transferable skill sets do I need to highlight in order for me to be seen as a top candidate? So put your resume in chat, and then also ask chat, if I were to apply for a medical social work role, is my resume currently ATS compliant to where it can get through the system for an interview? So I would do that for a medical social work role. Because like I was saying before, when it comes to medical social work, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So it's not about if you know enough, if you know the terms. It's about who you know, who can help you get your foot in the door. And you get your foot in the door by connecting with people and volunteering. So you got to get active and get in your community. I need to build up my confidence. I'm going to try. Yeah, absolutely. Work on building your confidence. So, if you need confidence when it comes to interviewing, I would say practice in the mirror. My name is Stacy. I am an MSW and I have a passion for working with whoever you have a passion for. And my goal is to identify what your goal is. Keep it that simple. Practice it in the mirror until it's like second nature. Practice your hand gestures like you don't want it to be stale. My name is Stacy. I'm a medical social worker. I'm an LSW. I recently graduated. I have a passion for XYZ, and my goal is to put some inflection in your voice too, so you don't sound like you've been practicing. I reviewed your interview video as a guide. It decreased anxiety and I felt well prepared. Oh, perfect. I'm gonna take a screenshot of that if you don't mind. Thank you. Okay, I'll X your name out so you won't, if you don't want to be identified. I've since completed 2 interviews and job shadow for a dialysis unit. I'm still applying. Oh, perfect. Thank you for watching the video. Yeah, congratulations on that. That's really good. Oh, that's another good way for medical social work. For those of you who are interested in medical social work, job shadowing. You see how that is a related skill set? She job shadowed at a dialysis unit when I said find something medically related. That's a good example. So even though you can't get in a hospital, find things that are adjacent to a hospital that you can add to your resume as a skill set. Okay, so Stacy, networking is a skill that can be learned. So it's okay if you're not good at it now. You just want to make the commitment to stop saying you're not good at it and then just work on getting better. Because right now you're like operating under the identity of I'm not the best, which is okay. We just don't want to stay there. So I have a networking, oh, it's inside of my, so yeah, I don't think that, I had a networking course, but it's not public anymore because I don't really, I'll probably, I'll do a video around it if I haven't. Let me take a screenshot of that. Because the membership that I have isn't for like career focus anymore. It's for people who are on that second tier. So I talk about the career phase and the scaffolding phase and the social work CEO phase. So my membership now is for those who are in the scaffolding phase, and a lot of you are in the career phase. So what I'll probably do is just make my career phase content available on my YouTube channel so you all have access to that. And then it's going to help you with networking. Do you think going into social work is more of a personality kind of thing, or can you learn things? Absolutely. Like being calm, absolutely. Those are all learned. Because when you think about, when you talk about being calm, learning to be calm, that's a skill. And oftentimes you're not calm because you have some dysregulation. It's no different than what our clients experience. So just like we help them do the work of understanding their nervous system, if you have difficulty being calm, then you will want to do the work that centers around your nervous system and what's causing you to feel dysregulated or anxious, which can be your thoughts, it can be your perceptions, it can be your environment. So once you start like doing the work and figuring out what's keeping you from being calm, then you just do the reverse of that. And responding slower, that's what we call the difference of responding versus reacting. So you're probably reacting out of frustration, overwhelm, fear, not feeling adequate, like whatever those negative core beliefs are, anxiousness, ADHD, like it could be a lot of things that are causing you to be impulsive. So when you're not responding slowly, that means you're acting impulsively. So you would need to learn how to slow down, and it's not going through your prefrontal cortex. So you're mostly probably responding emotionally or in your stress response, which is at the base of your brain, operating out of your fight, flight, or freeze. So you would need to learn the tools to go from the base of your brain, or the limbic part of your brain, which is the emotional part, and how you can start operating out of your limbic brain, or getting your executive functioning on board. And those are all skills that you can develop. I've learned that some dialysis units have career ladders for social workers. Some lead to regional. Oh, perfect. That's really good. So that could be another. And if you work at a dialysis center, for those of you who are interested in medical social work, that could be a really good thing to add to your resume when you're ready to transition into medical social work. Did you learn about that in grad school? No. I learned about it when I became a school social worker. I was working in a school setting, and we were trained, because I was working in a preschool, we were trained in the conscious discipline model with Dr. Becky Bailey. And then they sent us to conscious discipline training. And then I learned Dr. Bailey's model. But if you search conscious discipline on Instagram or on YouTube, you'll learn about her model and how she talks about the 3 brain states. But over time, I've adapted it to my own. I've read books. I've come to understand it in my own way. But that was like the foundation of how I started understanding about brain states. Do you have videos on these skills regarding disregarding negative thoughts and building confidence? No, but let me take a screenshot because I can create videos around it if that'll be helpful. And the other, when I became trained in EMDR, and that's when I really learned about negative core beliefs and how that drives our behavior. But you don't have to be trained in EMDR to learn about negative core beliefs. That's something else that you could probably look up through YouTube. Oh, Dr. Brian Post, BRYANPOST. Amazing videos on YouTube. I highly recommend his videos and his books, From Fear to Love. It will get you together. It's so good. So look up Brian Post. I wanted to interview him for my YouTube channel, actually. I've been meaning to do that for years. I really want to do that. So Dr. Becky Bailey and Dr. Brian Post. What was not expecting the mini therapy session. Oh, you're welcome. Confidence, that's what I asked about too. Yeah, I mean, that will keep you from talking yourself out of a lot of things that you're capable of doing, just not having confidence. And the thing about confidence is it's built by action. So you become more confident by proving to yourself that you can do hard things. And you have to do it scared. Like a lot of times we think like, oh, the confidence will come when I get more confident. No, the confidence will come when you do the thing in spite of fear. So that's what you have to practice doing. So that means when you get that knot in your stomach, when you're your pits start getting sweaty, your palms start getting sweaty, your heart starts racing, your breathing gets shallow, do it scared. And then when you're doing it scared, you just recognize the emotion. So a lot of times what gets in our way is we fall too much into the emotion, like we're not able to be outside of it. So when you settle into the emotion, you can't observe the emotion. So you want to encounter it as if you're just kind of watching yourself go through it, not that it's overtaking you in the moment. So you would say, this is me being very nervous, this is me being very scared. That's you externalizing the emotion. This is me, my body's responding. I know I'm nervous, I know that I'm scared. This is a natural response, because your body is designed to keep you safe. Like, it's all natural. So when you're trying something new, when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, your body's going to have an emotional response, because your body's always scanning the environment to make sure that you're safe. And whenever it sees that you're doing something that's like, this doesn't feel right, all those triggers and sensations are going to happen. So it's natural. Your body is doing what it's supposed to do. But just because it's responding in that way, it doesn't mean that you can't override it by like acknowledging it, recognizing it, and just continuing to move forward, because you know logically, like, we're safe. So when your body is in that base of the brain, like survival state, like, oh, we're in danger, your job from your executive brain is to be able to talk back to your survival brain, like, no, we're okay, like, we're safe, we're good, we're just a little scared, but let's keep going, like, we got it. So then you just kind of move forward, talking back to it, not in a negative way. You're not calling yourself dumb or stupid, like, why are you always ruining things? Like, get it together. You know, you're not being mean with yourself. You're being gracious with yourself. You're welcome. Can you place his name in the chat? Oh, do I know how to do that? I couldn't catch the name you mentioned. It's Bryan. I don't know. This is my first. I was just testing this out. Like, I didn't really know what I was doing. I don't know if I can write in the chat. BRY. Yes, there you go. Stacy has it. Bryan Post. You can look him up on YouTube. He has amazing videos about working with teens. His focus is on foster youth, like working with foster kids, but he specializes in helping teens with who are dysregulated and understanding how to communicate with them in a way that causes them to open up. Becky Bailey, yes. Conscious discipline. Her stuff is really good. His stuff is really good. He's going to get you all the way. And he's a social worker too. Bryan Post. I might try to reach out. He's not posted any videos in a really long time, but they're still good. Oh, good. I don't even know if this is going to be recorded. I hope it is. This is our little late night helping session. So I'm glad this was helpful for you all. Okay, so we have his name. Imposter syndrome. Oh. Okay, so we got that. I'm glad this was helpful. Do y'all have any other questions? So yeah, I don't really like to buy into imposter syndrome, because to me that's just validating an idea or identity that's not working for me. Like, I don't want to connect with anything that is further disempowering me to do the thing that I want to do. But I do think that it's good to kind of recognize those voices, the narratives, the thinking, the thoughts that come up. But just being careful not to like self-identify with those things. Because that to me is just an added layer that you have to work through to step into the identity of who you want to become. And instead of you like identifying with imposter syndrome, like who's on the other side of that? So like Stacy was saying about being confident, like what would it look like to lean into that identity of being confident and deciding who that person would need, like how would you need to show up to be that person? What would be those small steps or commitments that you would need to make to yourself, or small reframes that you would need to do to be the confident person instead of the imposter? I found scriptures, affirmations, retired social workers and study buddies have been, oh, good. Yeah, that's great. Having support is really important. Mentors is important. Validating yourself, speaking back to that negative self-talk. Yeah, all that's super helpful. Any other questions? Oh, I'm glad you did too. This is going to be every Thursday. I don't know if it's going to be this late, but I do my membership from 7 to 8, and then I'm going to be live on YouTube from 8:30 to 9:30. So if you can catch it, I just kind of felt like testing this out. Like I didn't intend to be on here this long. I just kind of wanted to see how the features worked, but you guys were here, so I was like, okay, well, let's just kind of be here together. But yeah, every Thursday from 8:30 to 9:30 if you did want to catch it earlier. You're welcome. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna hop off. I'm in Eastern time. I'm in Florida too, actually. So maybe that's why you caught it, because maybe the algorithm picked up that we're in the same same state. So yeah, I'm gonna hop off and I will see you all, yeah, next Thursday. But when I post some newer content, then you all will probably see that. And then I took some screenshots of some things I know I need to record for you all, so I'll add that to the queue. And yeah, if you catch the live next Thursday, then I'll see you all then. You're welcome. Thank you. Have a blessed evening yourself. All right, you guys, hope you all get some sleep, and I'll see you all next Thursday.